Alright ladies and gents, I've got 3 new fragrances I'm going to talk to you about today. 3 brand new fragrances that I recently picked up after visiting San Francisco's premier perfume shop, ZGO Perfumery. If you're in the area, you should definitely visit. If you're visiting the San Francisco area on a trip or something, definitely stop in as they have lots of great niche fragrances. Anyway, the 3 fragrances I was excited about were Lili Fantasy from the house of Juliette Has a Gun, also The Ghost in the Shell from the house of ETAT Libre d'Orange, and then I ended up buying a small bottle also of Poudre De Musc from the house of PARFUMS and NICOLAI, which I actually featured this recently in the baby powder fragrances video. If you haven't caught that, go catch it. But either way, I'm going to let you know about these brand new fragrances, 3 of them coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today I'm talking about 3 new fragrances that just recently launched. Fragrances that are really exciting. I mean, this is the one that was really exciting to me. I really love ETAT Libre d'Orange, and I think they're an underrated house. Although they used to be a little more edgier, their fragrances have gotten not as edgy anymore, but still they have some really great launches. This one actually was really exciting to me because of The Ghost in the Shell. It's based off of the anime. But and of course, I also really enjoy Juliette Has a Gun. I like a lot of their fragrances like Vanilla Vibes, Not a Perfume Superdose, Sunny Side Up, Musk Invisible, Pear Ink, so many different fragrances, and their latest is Lili Fantasy. So I'm going to let you know about this one too. And of course this, I really like this house as well. And if you don't know about PARFUMS and NICOLAI, they are a house created by Patricia de Nicolai, who is part of or from the Guerlain family. Anyway, I'll let you know all about these 3 fragrances, but before I do, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do click that subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So if you don't know ZGO Perfumery, I do have a special discount code that I use when I'm buying fragrances there. It saves me 15% off. It's Perfume Guy. I have a link to the store in the info box. All these 3 fragrances are discountable, but not all fragrances they sell in their store are discountable. So if you're curious to check these out, you can always use that discount code for these 3 fragrances. And again, if you're curious about a certain fragrance, ask them, call them up, email them or something to see what discounts you could use. But let's go ahead and talk about which fragrances you can use the discount code on. But let's talk about Lili Fantasy first. So Lili Fantasy is the 2nd fragrance that was launched this year from this house. And I discovered Juliette Has a Gun probably around 5 years ago, although I knew about the brand a long time ago, probably dating back to the early 2010s. It's a house created by Romano Ricci. He's a relative, or I think he's the grandson of Nina Ricci. That's the technicality. I'm not 100% sure. Is it the grandson or is it the son? I think it's the grandson. But I really enjoy their fragrances. They're kind of quirky takes on perfumes. They do use a lot of synthetic notes, and like Not a Perfume Superdose uses that Cetalox, which is similar to Ambroxan, and similar kind of fragrances. Vanilla Vibes, I think, is my favorite of the bunch. I really love it. It's that kind of salty vanillic fragrance, but I really like lilies and fragrances, and Lys Mediterranee from Frederic Malle is a favorite from that house, so I was quite excited about this one. So 2021 launch. Perfumer is Romano Ricci. 100 ml is $135 in eau de parfum concentration. And the other thing about this particular fragrance is that their prices are kind of like designer prices, a little higher than designer, but they're not like going to break the bank with pricing, with some niche fragrances getting up there with like $300–400 per bottle. But this features notes of bubblegum accord, jasmine absolute, and amber. Those are the notes that have been officially credited to this fragrance. But when I was testing this fragrance out, I was like thinking, damn, is there like Cetalox in here as well? Like Cetalox is used in Not a Perfume and Not a Perfume Superdose. So I was experiencing that here. So it's such a contrast to the floral note of the Jasmine Absolute, and to me it does smell like lilies, but then I'm also picking up jasmine-y touches, and I'm also picking up tuberose-y touches. So it could be that there are other white flowers in here, but it is called Lili Fantasy. And even though we're using, you know, jasmine, tuberose, and things like that, a lot of perfumery is trickery. They can use other notes to create the smell of something completely different, which is kind of what they've done here. But once we get past the floral notes, I think it's a very masculine fragrance. The amber in here to me is very dry and woody. That's why I'm experiencing like an amber wood or ambroxan type of an experience. Really comes on very, very strong and very, very masculine in that sense. But the bubblegum accord is a little faint to me, and I think maybe the bubblegum and the jasmine together are creating the lily-like smell. But in the end, it's an interesting fragrance. It's not one of my favorites from the brand. I enjoy some of their other fragrances a little better. I enjoyed Pear Ink a little more than this, but I felt like the contrast of the floral touches with that really strong ambroxan type experience seems to not display or present the lily in here or the floral notes in a beautiful way. It's just a little more of a rough experience, if that makes sense. So it might be fine for some people. I just felt like it was a little unbalanced, very like rough ambroxan-y amber woods musk, lightly aquatic touches with this note here, which makes it a little heavy on that side, and I wanted a little more flowers, you know? That's the only thing that I could say that's a negative about this one, because it is after all called Lili Fantasy, and I wanted to experience that lily a little more. But to me, it really does go amber, woody, musky, with that you know, kind of ambroxan type experience that's in here. I mean, it's still a great fragrance. It's not one of my all-time favorites from this house, but I think it smells good. It's just I wanted a little more lily and a little less ambroxan type touch. Anyway, let me know if you've sampled Lili Fantasy from Juliette Has a Gun. Do you notice that ambroxan type experience in the base? Do you get a lot more lily than I do, or you know, white flowers than I do? Let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. Also, let me know, are you a fan of this house? Do you enjoy their fragrances? And if you do, what's your favorite fragrance from Juliette Has a Gun? Put a comment down so I can find out. Anyway, that's the first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about in this mini haul video, Juliette Has a Gun's Lili Fantasy. So the next fragrance, which happens to be my favorite of the three, is The Ghost in the Shell from ETAT LIBRE Orange. Who's a fan of this house? I've got several videos on the channel, a couple of videos shot with Etienne Desward, the founder of the company. So if you like hearing from the man behind the brand, you should definitely go catch those videos. One of the videos I shot in Lucky Scent Bar in New York City. Definitely worth it. We were doing a ranked fragrances video of this house, and you get to hear from the man behind the brand. But this is a 2021 launch once again, created by perfumer Julie Masse, who works for Maine or Manet, I think how you say it. It's the not the conglomerate, but the house that creates the perfumes. They have perfumers working for them and things like that. So this is 100 ml for $159 EDP concentration, and as I said, I have the ZGO perfumery discount code in the info box. It's Perfume Guy, but you can actually check the info box to get all that information. But this one, again, it's a very unique bottle with a pink and frosted kind of matte finish, and I really was excited about this one. I was never a fan of Ghost in the Shell. Not an anime fan whatsoever. I'm also kind of over animation, actually. I mean, I enjoy animation, but I used to work for an animation company a long time ago. But this one got me really excited. But once I got the fragrance, I really enjoyed it. Although it's not like in-your-face, intense kind of a fragrance, because there's a subtleness about this particular fragrance, but I quite like what I'm smelling. It is a floral kind of fragrance, but this kind of milkiness, but it's chock full of very unique notes that I'm not too familiar with, so I can't elaborate on the notes themselves. And some of the notes are also like proprietary to Maine or Manet. I'm probably butchering the way you pronounce this corporation who houses Julie Masse, the perfumer. But the notes are Aqual, Yuzu HE, Hexyl Acetate, Jasmine Absolute, Mugane, Milky Skin Accord, Moss Accord, Vinyl Gaiacol, Orcanox. So very, very interesting notes, right? But to me, it's definitely floral, milky, and musky all together. So those are definitely stuff you pick up here. There's a light fruitiness in here, and the milkiness, yes, you experience it, but you're not like swimming in milk kind of a thing. It definitely has hints of it. And when I was testing this out quite a bit, I've worn quite a bit of it, as you can see here. I was getting some of the milkiness more at some times versus others. And the other thing with this one is it wears better when it's warm outside rather than a cool, because it's a little on the subtle side, and the heat kind of like, you know, blooms the fragrance and kind of like makes the fragrance come alive even further. But actually, as a smell, it's really, really great. I enjoy it. It's that kind of a fragrance, like, I don't want to say it's kind of like an eccentric molecules type fragrance. No, I'm going to go and say something more like Beach Walk from the house of Maison Margiela. It's that kind of a fragrance. Musky, not necessarily beachy, but more skin and you know, skin musk kind of an experience. But here in this case, there's the floral touches, and then of course the milky touches as well. So I could say something like Lazy Sunday Morning meets Beach Walk, and then also, you know, kind of like also intermingles with something like I don't know what from DS and Durga. Throw in something floral as well, because you do have that in there, and then the milkiness. So it's that kind of a minimalistic fragrance, but a little more complex. But as a wearing experience, it's a little more subtle. But as I said, in the heat, it was coming alive a little more. It was a little more potent as a smell. So this particular fragrance, I feel like, will be better for warm situations, but it smells really, really great. It's a soft smell, beautiful smell, and now I'm very, very curious to try these you know, notes. Aqual, Hexyl Acetate, you know, all these Vinyl Gaiacol, all these notes I don't really know much about, and I'm curious to learn and dig in. But either way, I think those notes match the kind of fragrance this is. As you can see, a great fragrance. I recommend this one, but just be warned, it's not necessarily beastly. It is a little more on the subtle side, but I think it makes sense for this particular fragrance. Either way, this is the Ghost in the Shell from Etat Libre d'Orange, launched in 2021. And the third and final fragrance I'm going to talk to you about today is Parfums de NICOLAI's Poudre De Musc. The reason I got a 30 ml of this one, because I do have another fragrance from this house called Musc Intense. This is Poudre de Musc Intense. They are a little different, but they are also a little similar to me. And even though there's no mention of fruits in here, I get a light fruitiness in here. There is a little bit of like a pear type touch. So I'm not sure where that's coming from, but maybe it's notes, you know, kind of intermingling together and things like that. But it does smell like baby powder. It does have that kind of baby powdery experience, but in the end, it's very, very musky with sandalwood. There are ambery touches, and of course, aldehydes. Aldehydes and musk together creates lots of powder. So, and the powder with aldehydes kind of also is very airy. Aldehydes has this kind of like sparkliness and airiness. So it's kind of like, you know, when you open up a can of Coke and you can see that kind of like fizziness kind of rising. That's the kind of experience I get with aldehydes, because there's a fizziness, sparkliness about it. But you know, you do pick up the rose. There's a little bit of a, you know, orange blossomy touch, but I think all these notes together is also creating this like, you know, pear-like quality. And maybe it's just my nose playing tricks on me, because the other musk fragrance from Parfums de NICOLAI does have a pear note. So maybe I'm smelling similarities to that fragrance and I'm thinking it's a pear in here. But either way, it's a great scent. It's a little more subtle. Once again, these three fragrances, although Juliette Has the Gun's Lili Fantasy, because of all that Ambroxan, it does have some intensity, but I wanted more Lili in that one. With this one, it is a little more subtle. It's definitely musky and clean. There's some soapiness around this particular fragrance, then some spiciness as well, and it does have these kind of like light, sweet touches, and wears, you know, beautifully on my skin. And once again, with this one, just like the Etat Libre d'Orange, the Ghost in the Shell, heat is better for this one if you want it to bloom more. I think with cold temperatures, we are, you know, going into a winter. I think as long as you're into skin scents, this is probably going to be fine. But if you want some oomphiness to it, wear it when it's warm outside and see the fragrance come alive. Although, if your body is kind of like heating up, you're doing a lot of activity, moving around, you're going to experience this fragrance a lot stronger than when you're like just sitting down and your body temp is, you know, staying the same. And the fragrance is not going to project much. But either way, it smells great. It smells really, really wonderful. It's definitely baby powdery and definitely musky, woody, aldehydic and ambery. Anyway, that's Parfums de Nicolai Poudre de Musc. I didn't give you the price on this one, did I? This is a 2021 launch once again. 100 ml for $202, 30 ml for $67. It is eau de parfum concentration. And this house, Parfums de Nicolai, has fragrances in a non-intense collection and of course the intense collection. So they are priced a little higher in the intense collection versus the non-intense collection. But yeah, a really great fragrance. And if I haven't told you the actual notes in this one, it's musk, sandalwood, amber, aldehydes, rose, orange flower, hawthorn, carnation, mandarin orange, raspberry, petitgrain. Yeah, there are some fruity touches, but I'm not experiencing it like raspberry. I'm experiencing it more like pear. Anyway, either way, great scent. Check these out. And as I said, the discount code is in the info box. You can go check out some of the fragrances at ZGO Perfumery. And as I said, if you come to the city, definitely stop in. There's a great selection of fragrances there and also candles. And again, the discount code doesn't apply on everything. Definitely applies to most perfume houses, but some are not included. So check with the store. Definitely applies to these three though. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching this video today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Let me know if you've tried these three fragrances or if you're looking forward to trying them. I'd like to find out. But other than that, appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.